Hi guys, welcome to another video from Overbite Gaming, and today I'm going to be reviewing Halo Infinite. I'll let you in on my history with the Halo games. I was always a PlayStation guy and not an Xbox guy, so I didn't really get to play too many Halo games. The first two made it to PC, so I played them there. And then of course Game Pass came along, and I've since played, if not completed, then pretty much the entire series. I have the Master Chief Collection. I got that when I had my Xbox One. And of course with Game Pass I can play it on PC as well, which is obviously my preferred platform. So I finished 1 and 2. I did some of ODST, a little bit of 3 and a little bit of 4, even though 4 I bought independently of the Master Chief Collection, as I recall. I think I have a box around here somewhere. So I'm not especially au fait with the Halo series, outside of having, completed the first 2 a while ago, and having sort of spits and spots of experience throughout the rest of the series. I've never played any of the Halo Wars stuff, so it's just the mainline games I've played. And the new one, Halo Infinite, has come out, and it's a bit different, I gotta say. Obviously the enemies, so you still get your grunts, which are the least intimidating, pointless enemies in the history of the world ever, in my opinion. Don't like them, they're annoying as fuck. Even just the sounds they annoy, the tendency of running away. So it plays like pretty much every other Halo game. You're a Master Chief, you have your shields that regenerate, your health underneath your shields, which also regenerates. You pick up guns. I noticed there's a lot clearer of a delineation between kinetic weapons and plasma weapons. I'm not sure whether that's come out in any of the more recent previous games. But certainly it felt like plasma weapons and kinetic weapons definitely had their situations. Like breaking through a shield was a lot easier with a plasma weapon, whereas actually killing the meat underneath was a lot easier with a kinetic weapon. Normally I just use the one I have ammo for, because the ammo, certainly if you're a little bit picky about what weapon types you want to use, the ammo is a bit limited. You will find boxes around the place that will refill either kinetic or plasma ammo, and obviously you can pick up ammo from other weapons as well. But if you don't want to use like the crystal gun or whatever it's called, the one that shoots the semi-homing crystal shards, the pink ones, those, which I've never really liked at all, I tend to sort of go away from those. The plasma pistols, not. I used to quite like it in the earlier games, but I feel it lacks power nowadays, even charged. So it's like the plasma assault rifle or just the regular assault rifle. Those are probably my two favourites outside of heavy weapons, obviously. Although I think it's the Demolisher. Is it Demolisher? I can't remember. But it's basically like a big-ass revolver that the bad guys have. I think the bad guys this time around are the Banished. They have kind of switched up the bad guys like 2 or 3 times during the course of this series, so I'm never really sure anymore. But it feels like a Halo game. But they have added some stuff which kind of feels like Halo games kind of stepped out on their lady with a bit of Far Cry, maybe, because now you have an open world to run about in, with things to do, which feels very Far Cry-esque to me. It's so you've got like little forward operating bases which you can spawn stuff at, and you get honor for like liberating facilities and rescuing your marine fellows, and then you can spend that valor on equipment at the forward operating bases, so you can get vehicles and stuff, and as you go up in value, unlock them as well, so you get better and better stuff that you can pull. So from that regard, it feels very much like a Far Cry game, and to be honest, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, the Halo games I've played in the past, and so the ones I've completed, I just felt like I was just playing this story with as a first-person shooter, but you were sort of going along and working through the story, and then the story ended, and you were like, okay, I'll play the next game. Whereas in this, it's always like, well, I could go do the next bit of the story, but there's this here, and this over here, and that over there, and there's an elite boss there, and he wields one of these, so I can get one of the... And you just like... I don't hate it, but I'm just not used to it in a Halo game. Now, I could be talking completely out of my ass, and maybe Halo 4 had something like this, but for me, it's new as... So, as far as I can tell, it's new to this one. I never played that far into Halo 4, so I'm not sure whether it was in that. Also, I notice he has a handy-dandy grappling hook now. which I really wish I meant to look this up before this review, but I'm lazy and busy, and that's a bad combination in anyone's book. So I think I can't remember if the Doomslayer in Doom Eternal had the grappling hook. I think he did, but I don't want to go on. Well, I am going on record saying I think it did, so that was kind of a wasted thought, but whatever. But now Master Chief has it as well, so you can like rappel up things. It's been kind of a trouble. It's been infiltrating games since Just Cause, having this little grappling hook doodad. Yeah, it's helpful. Yeah, you can grapple bad guys. Although I kind of forgot I had it most of the time and just jumped up places. It's just something else I'm not used to seeing in a Halo game. So it feels, although the combat's very much Halo, obviously Master Chief very much Halo, all the bad guys very much Halo, and they have all this other stuff in there that's most definitely not Halo from my experience. The fact that it's different doesn't make it bad. It just doesn't feel quite as much like Halo. Yeah, I should have a. If I could be asked, I'd put a carrot down the bottom of how many times I said Halo during this review, because it's probably going to be a lot. Interestingly enough, it is reviewing fairly differently on the clients. So on Steam, it's very positive, 2,387 very positive reviews. But if we look at your Game Pass client, it's 3 out of 5 stars. And I think this is more to do with the technology behind the client itself rather than the content of the game, because I have noticed a couple of things on the Game Pass version that may not exist on the Steam version. So let's do the minor one. We'll work up to the big one. It doesn't work with Afterburner. I can't get the metrics overlay. I found FPS counter in game, but you always got to wonder just how biased those are. But like finding that because it seems to have also in-game, for some reason, scalable resolution. I'm not sure I've got it turned off because you set what your minimum frame rate is, but you don't. I can't find any way to turn it off definitively, so I'm not sure whether it's scaling or not a lot of the time. And okay, so the big thing for the launching aspect is you press play on Game Pass. They've probably patched it since I last tried it, so that'd be great. Press play on Game Pass. You wait. Your icon does a little spinny thing, goes back to an arrow. Nothing happens. So you're like, okay. Just give it a minute. Give it a minute. Nothing happens. Okay. So like that didn't launch for whatever reason. It's not grayed out the play button, it's still clickable, so I'm going to click it again. And then it just loads, and you're like, perfect, fine. And then you get in game, and you're like looking at your frame rates, and it's like between 20 and 14. You're like, what? So you turn down your frame rates a little bit, and you're like, it's still terrible. What's going on? So you think, I don't know, mate, I'll restart my PC. We'll see what happens. So you exit the session. And instead of exiting the session, it just takes you back to the main menu. So you're like, that's weird. Why wouldn't you just quit the desktop from that point? Only to find out it actually has quit the desktop. So that first click of the button does launch the game. Although it doesn't seem to launch a game until you launch another version of the game. So you quite often end up with 2 instances of Halo Infinite running, which means your frame rate's going to get battered because your PC is running 2 games. It could just be me, it could just be me being an impatient dumbass, but I mean, I waited for like a couple of minutes and it didn't load, so I just assumed it wasn't loading. So if you're having performance issues on PC, come out, make sure you're not running a second session, because it's fucking strange. It's kind of like the first time I've seen that. And I was just like, I just sat there like, I exited. Why are you going away? Why am I? I'll just exit again. There we go. It worked that time, and then the second time happened, I kind of twigged as to what was going on. I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Fortunately, you have gotten the captured footage from me after having discovered that mistake. Unfortunately, I had left VSync on from trying to fix that mistake. So you are seeing a capped 60 frame experience, but 60 frames, okay for a first-person shooter. It's not ideal, but it will do you. I think I was getting, everything uncapped, I think I was getting around 70, 80. So a bit better, but nothing to shout out about. But then again, not a current graphics card because, well, I don't want to take out a second mortgage to get one. Not when my 2080 Supra's okay for the most part, so whatever. But yeah, I mean, I am enjoying the game. Historically, I have kind of like fallen out of playing the campaign relatively quickly in Halo games. That explains why I don't finish too many of them. Because although the stories are all different, kind of like the meat of what you're doing is generally the same. It's like those little grunts haven't changed since the very first Halo. You get a couple of shields now, sure, but it's still the annoying voice grunt. I just kind of like, it just feels like I know what I'm getting with each one for the most part. So I don't really want to carry on, and the fact that you've got an open world to do these side activities in this time around is just kind of like, yeah, I think that's going to like wear on me even more. Because all these side activities involve shooting basically the same things. There was, I can't remember if I captured it, but it was an interesting one where I was rescuing this group of Marines. Don't think I captured it actually, sorry. And these two drop pods came in and one practically squelched me, and then the thing jumped out and then battered me to death, and I was like, oh. Well, that at least that's a bit different, right? And you get other ones like you go to facilities and you blow up like fuel tanks and stuff like that. It's nothing that you wouldn't have played before in many other games, but it seems to be quite new to Halo if you ask me. So yeah, there you go. It does have a visor mode, so you can see the waypoints, which I'm always appreciative of, when, especially if you're in a maze-like area, or you know, you're trying to work out how to get up a mountain. It helps you sort of figure that out. Obviously, the grappling bit probably helps a little bit more, but you know. So I don't know. If you're a Halo fan, then you're gonna, I presume, like it because it's just more Halo, really. I mean, you got the extra side activities thrown in there in the open world, so it's just more and more Halo. It's kind of like the Destiny 2 of Halo. But I mean, it's free on Game Pass, the campaign. You can play the multiplayer for free everywhere, which obviously I have not done because I don't like multiplayer games, especially competitive first-person shooter multiplayer games. So I'm staying well away from that. But it is free on Game Pass for the campaign mode as well. But if you are a person that does not have Game Pass, why not, is my first question. And you also end up spending, I think it's 50 quid on Steam, 49.99. But that's in pounds. Your regional equivalent may vary. So it's the price of like a full game to get campaign mode. But you, as I said, you can play the multiplayer for free. And I know there are certain types of players out there that just play these things for the multiplayer anyway. So I think making that 3 is a really good shout. And I believe that is free on both Steam and Game Pass. So you don't need to worry where you prefer playing your games. Or you can just go download it and then have yourself some Halo fun. There is plenty of other stuff to coming. I imagine there will be a season pass and DLC and stuff like that for the multiplayer. Hopefully just cosmetic. They don't want to ruin the game, but you never can tell with these things, can you? I'll just have a look, see what's... no, I can't see actually too much. Yeah, the wall's retracted. Watch your back. I can't see anything that's been essayed. It's actually more expensive in Microsoft's Game Pass store if you don't have Game Pass. It's actually £55. That's interesting. It's almost like they're saying, what are you doing? Get a Game Pass subscription, nothing. Probably right. So top 3 reviews, 3 stars. If it's not working on the last Windows update, we're going to list the stuff to do. 1 star, just won't launch. And then 3 stars, good game, rubbish port. So there you go. That's the 3 reviews. So it's 2.8 out of 5 stars with 177 total reviews. 31% 5 star, 40% 1 star. And then you've got the ones in the middle. So that's an interesting split. I would hazard a guess to say that the 1 star reviews are the people having technical difficulties, and the 5 star ones are the ones perhaps not having technical difficulties. But I don't have a problem, as I said, with it not working. It works fine once it decides to launch. You just got to watch out for that double client deal, and you should be golden. Anyway, guys, that's my review of Halo Infinite. I remember seeing the preview video where like the Banished looked terrible. They called him Jeff or something. It doesn't look terrible. I don't think it's nothing that made me go, whoa, man, check that out, whoa. Nothing like that. But, you know, it certainly doesn't look out of place amongst current day AAA games, so if you like Halo, you're probably already playing it, if I'm honest. So, you know, enjoy yourself. If you don't like Halo, it's probably not going to change your mind. And if you're in the middle like me, yeah, it's kind of what you expect. Except for those bits that you don't expect. Anyway, guys, I think we'll leave it there. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of Halo Infinite. I won't bother asking if you've played other Halo games, because, like, I know my audience. Of course you have played other Halo games. What nonsense am I talking? So let me know down below if you have Game Pass. And if not, the reasons why not, because it's such a tremendous value proposition. I'm just like, I don't understand any reason for not having it. I mean, I'm like not doing great at the moment financially, but I still have Game Pass, so what's your excuse? Anyway, guys, take it easy. I'm just trying to think when this goes out. I think we got... Well, the next one will be Christmas Day. I think. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure my math is adding up though. No, I don't want that. Why you give me that? There we go. Yeah, so the one after this one will be Christmas Day. I'm not building a PC this year, so don't get excited for that. I'll see what I can figure out, because I don't really have anything planned. Christmas is kind of really stuck up on me this year. You know, it's only the same day every year. You know, it's quite reasonable to forget it. Yeah, I'll see what I can do though. Maybe Christmas release. Yeah, 9. Yeah, I can't see a reason not to put it at 9. It's not like I'm keeping a secret this year. So there we go. Anyway, guys, take it easy. Catch you later.